Story time, my boyfriend wouldn't let me break up with him, so I cheated on him with his best friend. So we're gonna call my boyfriend Jay and his best friend Mike. Well, I met these two boys through my best friend, and I really liked Mike. Mike and I would talk all the time. We would FaceTime 24/7, but whenever the subject of dating came up, he said that he couldn't because his best friend really liked me. So he was trying to set me up with Jay, but not really because he really liked me. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll date Jay for a little bit and then I'll break up with him. Worst mistake of my fucking life. Every time I would try to break up with this kid, he would be like, I'm gonna kill myself now. And he would send me videos with him holding up a knife to his neck, cutting his arms whenever I would say we're breaking up. So pretty much I was forced into that relationship. He was manipulative as fuck. It was just not a good situation. Well, the one day Jay was like, oh, do you want to come over Mike's house with me? And of course I said yeah, because I literally was still in love with Mike, his best friend. And my parents were super strict, so I had to sneak over there, like for part two. Part two of how my boyfriend wouldn't let me break up with him, so I cheated on him with his best friend. For the new people, Mike is the best friend and Jay is the guy who I was dating. Anyway, so we get to Mike's house, right? And we're all hanging out, and I was giving Mike a little bit more attention than I was giving Jay. Because obviously, I wasn't interested in Jay. So Jay decided to act like he was pissed off at me, right? And he walks out of the house, right? To see if I would chase after him. Like, obviously I'm not going to. So Mike and I are sitting there watching him walk down the street because he said he was going home. So Mike and I were sitting on the couch and we started making out. And then we heard the fucking front door open. And Jay's like, I can't believe you didn't come and talk to me after that, blah, blah, blah. What is this relationship? So then Mike steps in and he's like, yo, you need to drop her. She just tried to make out with me, blah, blah, blah. And I sat there and I was like, yeah, it's true. So Jay starts bawling his eyes out and goes to the fucking kitchen to grab a knife. So after that, Mike called the cops on him and Mike and I are finally dating now.
My brother's house is haunted. Story time. So some of you guys already know this, but I'm staying at my brother's house for a couple of months because of some family drama, but that's a story for another day. But anyways, I'm staying on the top floor by myself, and the only way to get up here is that staircase right there, and it just gives me the creeps. And I had no idea why until last night. So it's around 2 a.m. and I'm laying in my bed just scrolling through TikTok videos as I normally do. And I can hear footsteps coming up the stairs, so I was thinking, okay, my brother's coming up here, but why? I mean, there's literally nothing up here except for my bedroom, like the staircase, my bathroom, and then this is my entire bedroom. So what was he coming up here for? So I listen to the footsteps come all the way up the stairs and I hear them stop right here at the top of the staircase. So I look over and I see a tall, dark silhouette and I assumed it was my brother. So I was like, is everything okay? And then all of a sudden, the dark figure runs towards my bed and before it can get to me, it disintegrates into thin air.
Story time on how I caught my dad sleeping with my sister, his biological daughter. Okay, so boom, let's jump right into it. So my mom passed away when I was 10 years old. Me, my dad, and sister grieved the loss of our mom/wife and honored her as best as we could. But the loss of our mom hit our dad pretty rough. Due to the loss, for about 4 years, he continued to suffer from depression. But recently, my dad has been happy. The happiest I've seen him in a long time. And it kind of came out of nowhere, but of course, I was happy for my dad. I'm now 14 and my sister is 12, and everyone always says how much my little sister looks like my mom. Literally my mom's twin and mini-me. I thought nothing of it, but little did I know my sister looking like my mom would make my dad do some disgusting things. Like and follow for part 2. Part 2 on how I caught my dad sleeping with my sister, his biological daughter. Okay, so boom, like I said, after my mom passed away, my dad became depressed until a couple years later, he just wasn't. Watch part 1 to understand. Now I'm 14 and my sister's 12 and everyone is saying my sister looks like my mom. Literally twins, she is the mini-me of my mom. And I guess my dad seen this too and he became obsessed with my little sister. He would dress my little sister up as my mom and even became way too affectionate with her. For some reason, my little sister liked this attention, but like I knew it was wrong. But I didn't know how far my dad would take it. One day I was in my room and I heard moaning and it sounded like my sister. And it was coming from my dad's room. So I go over there. And yeah, it's exactly what y'all think. I called and told my auntie and now my dad's in jail. We're living with our auntie and my sister's in counseling. Be safe.
Am I the asshole for exposing that my sister wasn't really pregnant? My sister Katie and her boyfriend Mark had been on and off again for 15 years. They had a very bad fight and it seemed Mark broke up with her for good, but Katie revealed to him that she was pregnant. Mark and everybody were so thrilled. There was a baby shower planned and a Google Doc shared with everyone on what they wanted. Then out of nowhere, someone messaged me anonymously on Facebook and told me Katie wasn't actually pregnant and she was lying. I didn't believe it, but when I confronted her, she confessed to me that she wasn't pregnant. I said she had to tell everyone the truth, but she refused and insisted she would get pregnant soon. I couldn't keep my mouth shut after I heard all the money people were spending on the imaginary baby. Am I the asshole for exposing that my sister wasn't really pregnant? Someone messaged me anonymously on Facebook and told me she wasn't really pregnant and she was lying. She confessed that she wasn't really pregnant but that she would be soon and asked me not to say anything. I couldn't keep my mouth shut after I heard all the money people were spending on the imaginary baby. My parents bought a very expensive crib and other furniture, and the fancy baby shower was coming out of Mark's parents' wallets. On top of that, people were buying items on their baby registry that were also very, very expensive. I texted Katie one more time, but she refused to tell anyone. I ended up emailing everyone telling them the truth about the pregnancy. Katie and Mark broke up for good, and she isn't talking to me now. Am I the asshole?
I ripped her tooth out. Story time. When I was in 3rd grade, I had this friend and we're gonna name her Emma. And Emma was really nice, but she was just very overdramatic. So one day she comes to school and she is freaking out because she has a loose tooth. And it was bothering her so bad to the point where she was whining about it all day. And I was like, okay girl, calm down. It's just a tooth. It's gonna fall out. Don't worry. Stop whining about it. But she would not shut up. So I was like, Emma, do you want me to pull your tooth out? Because you're getting on my nerves. And she was like, no, it's gonna hurt. Don't touch me. So I was like, if I pull it out, it's not gonna bother you anymore. So then Emma was like, fine, just pull it out. So I tried everything to get this tooth out of her mouth. I tried my hands, some string, some pliers. Just kidding, we didn't have pliers in 3rd grade. And nothing was working. That tooth was hanging on for dear life, literally. But then I had an idea. I told her to bite down on my pencil using her loose tooth. And then as soon as she did, I yanked it out. And her tooth came out with the pencil, but so did a lot of blood. She kept the pencil.